Right. Well, first of all, I want to say happy Thursday to everyone. Hope everybody's doing well and was able to get outside. It's beautiful outside. Today in sunny Philadelphia, where nothing but good things happen. We know that's right. My name is Robin Gillespie, and I'm one of the change agents for Black Girl Ventures Philadelphia chapter. Black Girl Ventures was created to help give Black and Brown identifying women access to capital. Because as we all know, this is a statistic we hear over and over again, but I don't think you can hear it too many times. In the venture capital market, we are severely underfunded. Black and brown women receive less than 1% of funding. And we're here to help fill the void, bridge the gap. Tiara?
Robin, do you want to introduce yourself, or I can certainly start and come back to you?
Yeah, why don't you come back to me?
All right, so hi everyone, my name is Tiara Durham, and I am a Black Girl Ventures Philadelphia change agent. I'm so excited to be here today. This is a very special day for us for a couple of reasons. Number one, we launched Black Girl Ventures Philadelphia in February of this year, live at Venture Cafe. And that was an awesome thing to experience, but a bit ironic because I think as Natalie and I were discussing yesterday, this was actually the last live event at Venture Cafe. So we wanted to go out with a bang. And now we're back. Now we're back for our virtual pitch competition and our Venture Cafe takeover. Again, my name is Tiara Durham. I am also the founder of Colors of COVID, which is a nonprofit designed to create a village for people of color, specifically Black, Indigenous, and people of color, to tell their stories and voice their thoughts around their experiences with COVID, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. It's an opportunity for us to develop community and share our voice. And long term, we hope to help to dispel the misinformation and disinformation that exists in the market around healthcare disparities among Black people. And I will turn it back over to Robin.
Yes. So I first learned about Black Girl Ventures, I believe 2 years ago. I was just on social media, as I'm wont to do, to find out what's going on. And I saw that Black Girl Ventures was having a pitch competition. At the time, and I still am, I was a consultant for the Business Center, which is another small business incubator in the Northwest corridor of Philadelphia. And I had a client who has a brand of natural hair care products. And she's already in business, but like many entrepreneurs, she wanted to scale up. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for her to perhaps meet some people, maybe gain a little bit more capital exposure. So she enrolled in the competition, presented. She wasn't one of the winners, but she was able to get an amazing amount of exposure just from participating in that event. So that's how I first learned about Black Girl Ventures, and that's when I first met Shelley. And then fast forward, I read that they were looking for change agents, and I thought, don't look any further, sign me up. How do I get on board? And that's how I became involved with the organization. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity because, as Tiara said, our event in February was the last live one that they had at Venture Cafe. And for most of us, that was the last time, except for maybe a few days ago, that I even saw some of these women who I've come to feel are like my sisters. We have that strong a bond. So I'm grateful to Black Girl Ventures for that opportunity and for everything that we're doing. We're making history right now. So Tiara, why don't you tell us about your experience with BGV?
Yeah, so just before I share my story, I know we have some people who are joining now. So just to give you an idea of what we'll spend our next hour doing, This is an opportunity to get to know the change agents. So we're going to save time for you to talk, ask us questions about BGV, our BGV experience, who we are, how you can get involved. We also want to highlight two videos. One is our fellow BGV Philly Change Agent, Tanya Morris, who is the founder of Mompreneurs. So we're going to share a small clip of an interview that she had with MSNBC not too long ago. And then we're also going to share a clip from the founder of Black Girl Ventures, Shelley Bell, talking about some of the challenges that Black women founders face as the pandemic rolls on, if you will. So, but most importantly, we want to give you a chance to talk to us, ask us questions, and have a little bit of fun. So with that, just a quick note about how I learned about Black Girl Ventures. So I have been in the Philadelphia area for, I always forget, it just kind of dates me, but I've been here for probably close to 10 years. Actually, it's more like 12 years now. And I came here with my corporate job. I've been in the pharmaceutical industry as a marketing expert and commercialization strategy for over the past 15 years. And despite the fact that the corporate world brought me here, I fell in love with Philadelphia. I fell in love with the startup community. The last project that I worked on in my corporate role was focused on a digital health product. And so as I have tried to immerse myself deeper and deeper into the Philly startup community, I was reading a Technically article. I saw the post for Black Girl Ventures and the fact that they were looking for Black women such as myself who were interested in changing the landscape of the Philadelphia startup community and helping people understand the importance of where Black and brown women founders fall in the spectrum of getting funded, having social capital, and then helping to change that narrative. So I applied. I interviewed with Shelley Bell, and Shelley says that she doesn't hire anyone that she can't go out with. So I'm like, hey, she wants to party with me. That's pretty cool. And that's how it happened. And so it's been a great year for us so far. And the pandemic hasn't slowed us down. So hopefully you guys can feel the love and the energy through the Zoom.
Yes.
Yes. So Robin, anything else before I move into one of the videos?
No, we can talk after the video.
All right, so again, I'm going to play this video. The goal is really just to be a bit of a conversation starter. It says my participation screen is disabled, so I don't think I could share right now.
Sorry, just fixed it for you.
Thank you. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Welcome back. Just yesterday, our country passed yet another grim milestone with the coronavirus. More than 200,000 Americans have now lost their lives to COVID, and that number, unfortunately, is continuing to grow. That record coincides with several states hitting peaks in cases, growing uncertainty about keeping schools open, and businesses across this country struggling to stay afloat. This week, Yelp released its latest economic report revealing U.S. business closures are steadily increasing as a result of the coronavirus, and that a whopping 60% of the establishments that have been forced to shut down will not be reopening. Joining me now is someone who is no stranger to the economic hardships of this pandemic, business owner, Tanya Morris. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us on this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about your business. I'm happy to report that you have survived so far, which is fantastic. Mom Your Business. But how have the last 6 months been for you?
Well, they've been challenging, to say the least, Yasmin. I mean, we were actually just getting ready to move into a co-working space when things hit in March. So we were closed down and had to really pivot and try to figure out other ways to service the women that we service virtually. We were preparing to launch a new program, an accelerator program in particular for women 50 plus. So we had to put that on hold. And we had to really help those businesses that we service really go from growing their business to really surviving, and how they were going to be able to stay afloat. So that's been our greatest challenge.
What is Mom Your Business all about?
So we support mompreneurs by connecting them to resources and opportunities that lead to success in business and in life. So we provide tools and resources, everything from strategic planning, business development, marketing strategies, all of those things. And so, African American women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. What the pandemic did was literally stop that in its tracks. And so we had to shift from helping folks to really growing their business to really helping them, again, to be able to survive. And as the stat that you just posted, 60% may not open. That number is even higher among Black-owned businesses.
So I want to jump off what you just said, because in speaking to NBC about Black entrepreneurship, you said, and I quote, "We were innovative in starting our businesses, and now we have to be more innovative in making sure that our businesses survive." What exactly are you having to do?
So, for one, we've had to help folks navigate the programs that have been available to them, such as the PPP and the EIDL, and other resources. We're in Pennsylvania, where our governor put in place a program specifically for minority-owned businesses. And so helping those businesses to navigate that terrain first and foremost. And then those that were on the front lines that are, on business corridors that were even damaged in the social unrest, helping them to recover, to rebuild their businesses, connecting them and with volunteers, with everything from cleaning up to upgrading their technology, all of those things that are critical to long-term survival in this climate.
Were you able to qualify for and take advantage of small business relief during this time?
Yeah, well, we were able to get the EIDL to help us to be able to do some things. It wasn't a large amount, and I'm sure there are many other businesses that would attest to that. It wasn't, something that was going to help us to be able to survive, but we were grateful for the amount that we did receive.
Tanya Morris, thank you as always, and good luck to you in the future. Thank you, Tanya.
All right.
Yes.
So let's give it, Tanya is, actually she's on the call now, but let's give a round of applause for Tanya, who represented Philadelphia, gave the rest of the nation a perspective on what's happening with Black and brown women founders. I would love to hear from the audience who's here, just listening to Tanya talk about her story and what she's going through. Are there any Black and women founders on the phone who've had similar experience, or on the teleconference that have similar experiences, or just general comments about what you heard? And if not, Robin and I are going to keep the conversation going.
Of course.
So, Robin.
Yes.
Share with us your thoughts around Tanya's overview and how that correlates with what we do here at BGV.
Wow, that is a great question. Well, one thing that Tanya highlighted was the need for improving technology. And that's something that we saw as a nation that needs to be addressed. And one of the things that impacted so many people during this pandemic was the processing of unemployment claims. Some people might not know this, but the reason why it took so long is because the system that was set up was only used to processing, I believe, up to, let's say, $600. And then when people were able to receive the extra $600, it bumped it into 4 figures. And the system literally could not handle the 4 figures. So they had to upgrade the entire system to be able to process that amount of money. So it just shows that as a nation, we all need to up our game as far as technology is concerned. That's something that I think that we've all learned, that whether it comes to learning how to navigate Zoom more effectively, using your Google calendars, setting up your voicemail, fixing your digital imprint, that's just something that we all need to do moving forward. We need to be aware and on top of all technological advances.
Absolutely, Robin. And one of the things that is truly interesting to me is that, you know, Tanya has been at the forefront of helping moms and other Black and brown women founders develop, start, and grow their businesses. And even she, in this climate, is not able to do that in the way that she would have liked to.
Right.
And if there's anyone that we need to continue to support and get behind are the people who are trying to help others move through this process, right? And so I think that Black Girl Ventures does that. And another way that we do that is by offering something that we call BGV Connect.
Yes.
And BGV Connect is a community of women who come together to not only share ideas and resources, but support each other through the challenges that we face, as well as through the wins that we have and the things that we celebrate. And so I think that BGV Connect has become even more of an instrument now that we are all virtual and all online. You know, we had a lot of goals for BGV Philly from kind of a physical relationship standpoint, wanting to be in front of people, wanting to be in front of Black and brown women founders who we could help. And BGV Connect was always there, but it gave us an opportunity to accelerate our connections via the virtual platform.
Yes.
So I definitely encourage you, if you're not familiar with BGV Connect, that you check it out, check some of those resources out.
Yeah, and to just go off what Tiara was just saying about, we had one live event and then after that we were shut down, but we kept going, we kept meeting, and we had 3 pitch perfect series.
Yes.
So basically people could register, join us on the Zoom link, and they were able to give their 1-minute elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we were able to give people feedback. So it was nice to be able to foster that community. And the thing that we found really interesting is that we actually had more participants from outside of Philadelphia than Philadelphia. So as you know, the culmination of this entire BGV takeover today is our pitch competition, and the people in the pitch competition are from this area. So hopefully everybody will stick around for that later on today.
Great point. Yeah, we just wrapped up this summer series on how to perfect your pitch. And it was another great and informal way for us to get together and coach each other and provide feedback on how to work on your pitch, how to have a short, concise pitch that you can give when you're on the elevator, or when you get back on the elevator and you want to have that quick conversation. So I just want to take a pause and see if anyone out there has a question for us. Anything at all that you have around Black Girl Ventures Philly, and what we do. Feel free to come off of mute and I will check the chat because I haven't been looking at it.
Let me see.
Yeah, hi, my name's Amog, and Black Girl Ventures seems like an amazing initiative to empower Black females, and like it seems like an amazing group of people. And so I'm just curious, like what sort of companies do the founders you work with go on to found? Is it like technology companies, like consumer goods? Like what sort of companies are founded, and like what are some of the biggest problems they were facing through the pandemic?
Well, I know the first winner of the Black Girl Ventures pitch competition in Philadelphia was an inventor named Cherie Mosley, and her company is called Minky Blue, and her product is a bag that has a compartment for everything you need, from your lunch to your shoes to your makeup to your computers. So her reason for coming for enrolling in the pitch competition was to gain capital to scale up. Because if you have a product like that and you want to get on QVC, HSN, you have to have the inventory. And the inventory comes with that. You also have to have the storage, and you also have to be able to cover the shipping costs. That's something a lot of people don't know about HSN and QVC, that when you get those orders, the shipping and the return is on you. It's not on QVC or HSN. And you have to, if you want to enter that arena, you have to have the capital. So that was one of the things, one of the struggles that I know she was trying to overcome, so she'd be able to step up and scale up her business.
Yeah, that's a great example, Robin. And just to add on to that, so most of the women, I think, that join Black Girl Ventures have their business or business idea already in place, and those are really agnostic to industry, right? So they span across everything from beauty to healthcare to tech-enabled spaces to fintech. There's women who are focused on AI technology and combining that with augmented reality. So there's just a very, very diverse group of founders. And one thing I'd like to add, because it's such a great question, is sometimes there can be misperceptions around whether or not Black and brown women have scalable businesses. And we do. We do have scalable businesses. We do have businesses that that could have values that or business valuations that could lead to multi-million dollars. The challenge is the social capital, the exposure.
Yes.
And I would even argue that we're being better at getting funding, but it's like what people say, you can't have just diversity, you have to have inclusion. So sometimes we have all the diversity in the world, but we still don't have a seat at the table. Right. And so that's really one of the things that Black Girl Ventures tries to help founders out. Your question had multiple parts. Did we answer all of them?
Yeah, it was a very thorough response. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to piggyback off what Tiara was saying about the diversity and the inclusion. I can remember at the first pitch competition in Philadelphia, someone addressed my client who had her natural hair care products about the viability of entering the arena. And I can quote word for word, she said, "It seems like that market is already oversaturated with those products." And I, very nicely, I feel like, even though I wasn't that aware of Kamala Harris at that time, I embodied her as I said, listen, I don't have exact statistics, but I really feel that, and a Black woman decides to go natural every 30 seconds in this country. And she needs products. And we need a range of products. And that's why these businesses are viable. Because we do support. We will support. If it's for us and by us, we will buy it.
Yeah, it's a hair care is a multi-billion dollar. Absolutely. Lola's shaking her head. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're at about halfway through our time. What I would like to do is share the next video where Shelley Bell also shares some of her thoughts around Black and brown women founders and what they're facing. And then from there, we'll open up the floor for any more questions that we have. How does that sound? All right.
Sounds good.
Let me get my sharing capabilities going. All right. Okay.
You know why voting's important in this country? Because for a long time, not everybody could do it. Octavius Catto in 1871 was shot in the back at 6th and South by some crumb who didn't want him to vote. Don't disrespect his memory. Go out and do it in their honor.
Tonight, Ali Vitale joins me now with her latest installment in our series on the She Session and the impact that the recession has had on businesses run by Black women. Ali, it's great to see you again. What do you got?
Casey, thank you for that look back at the past few years on this show. I've been so grateful. But if you look back at the last few months, there's been 3 crises that have been dominating the news cycle: the pandemic, the recession, and racial injustice. This next story is at the nexus of all 3.
Had I waited just one more month, there probably would be no Harriet's Bookshop.
Janine Cook opened her Philadelphia bookstore in February. A month later, the pandemic hit.
Is this life telling me, like, stop this stupid idea, or is this life telling me I need to figure out how to go harder?
Cook has reimagined what her business looks like, limited by the pandemic, while at the same time booming with a sudden increase in demand for books after the killing of George Floyd.
We went from having 3,000 followers to having 30,000 followers. Imagine, having this influx and not really knowing if you can manage it.
Even with that temporary spike in business,
every day I wonder if I'll make it. Every day.
Women and minority-owned businesses were on the rise prior to the pandemic, and Black women were starting businesses at a quicker clip than anyone else. The pandemic stopped them cold. From February to April, Black businesses were decimated, their numbers dropping more than 40% compared to 22% overall.
Why do you think that number is so high?
The phrase says that when white America catches the cold, Black America catches the flu.
Shelley Bell is the CEO of Black Girl Ventures, helping women of color access capital and now navigate a pandemic.
Community building is no longer a nice thing to have. Community is now an essential tool to push founders forward. I've seen an increase in finding people who look like you, sound like you, and are doing things that you're doing.
But old barriers still loom large. The biggest financial challenge cited by Black business owners in a 2019 Fed survey: access to credit. The same survey shows when they do apply for financing, they're less likely to be approved or get smaller amounts than they ask for. In COVID times, that disparity also translated into PPP loans.
We didn't get any federal loans. We didn't get the PPP.
A Goldman Sachs survey in April found 79% of Black business owners applied, but only 40% were approved, compared to 52% overall.
We don't necessarily want to believe, and who would want to believe, that we're living under a system that does not treat people fairly.
The disparity may be explained in part by Black and Brown-owned businesses having fewer employees and less revenue. But PPP loans also relied on existing banking relationships, creating a sort of financial chicken and egg for Black entrepreneurs.
If you understand that systemic racism lives in the institutions that you might, you're up against, you then have to do the work of creating something as an alternative.
And for Janine Cook, it's all about turning the page for the next generation.
I had a 7-year-old girl coming here. She's buying all these books with her dad. She said that she wants to open a bookshop one day. And that's like, that I never had that reality when I was a 7-year-old little girl, right? But that's the reality moving forward. And that's why it is important for us to be at the forefront of business ownership.
Casey, effectively what she's saying there is representation matters. It matters in business, and it also matters in politics. After Kamala Harris was announced as Joe Biden's running mate, I'm sure you heard this too, Black and brown women saying that they felt seen in that pick. So from your local bookstore all the way to the campaign trail, representation mattering in all corners of our society. And Casey, I'll say it again, it has been such a treat to be on with you for so many of these Sundays over the years. I'm so grateful for you being able to share our stories, and I'm so excited for what's next for you.
Ali Vitale, thank you so much, and thank you for all the great work that you have done.
All right. Robin, any immediate thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, I can say that one habit I definitely developed during the pandemic was actively seeking out businesses that were owned by Black or brown people and female-owned businesses. I made a conscious effort and decision, even if it was a place that might have been a little bit further out of the way, because those are excuses people use. Like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go there because it's not convenient. So businesses can't thrive that way. To help a business, you really have to actively support. So that's something I've really tried to incorporate into my everyday today, is actively supporting Black and brown businesses and female-owned businesses.
Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to read one of Tanya's comments in the chat. She's not able to talk live, but she said, when billion-dollar companies get millions and the rest get hundreds and thousands, we have missed an opportunity to build our economy through small business. And that just makes me think, if you want to, you got to do more than talk the talk. You have to walk the walk.
Right.
And this is a moment in time for all of us to come together and walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, that, again, that's what Black Girl Ventures is all about. I think Shelley made a really great comment that has resonated with me since I started with Black Girl Ventures, which is, you know, it's just not simply about having a community. That community is actually enabling women and showing impact in how we grow our businesses, start our businesses, and continue our businesses and help them to see higher levels of success. So I certainly, I have an entrepreneurial background, but again, came out of corporate America and have really been focused on defining the specific space that I'd like to operate in from a startup capacity. But I have started Colors of COVID, which is this nonprofit, and I owe that in part to having a group of women around me who encourage me almost on a daily basis to stay in the game and to keep going. And for me, it is a passion project because of the experiences that I've had through the pandemic. But I want to help change people's lives and really give them a voice in a similar way that Shelley had the vision to give Black and brown women founders a voice. So that really shows the impact of the success of an organization like this. So any other questions? Oh, wait a minute, Tamara Hill says, that has happened to me. Let me read it, Tamara. That has happened to me. I'm scrolling. I find people do not go out of their neighborhood. When I moved, my private practice had the opportunity to have my own property. I lost many patients. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have to work at, you know, we have to work hard at keeping our businesses going. It's right. Back to the small business mentality, right? I could go to Walmart or Target, or I can go down the street and support a small business.
Right. Yeah. I've been in the fitness industry for almost 30 years. And before I am from Philadelphia, but I lived in Pittsburgh because I went to school there. Then I came back to Philadelphia, started working at a chain gym. And I can't tell you how many people, and I have a lot of relatives in this city, that would say, oh, where's your gym? And I tell them it's in Center City. They're like, oh, that's too far. So with all the relatives and all the people that I know and my parents know, I should have been booked from sunup to sundown. I should have. And I said to my mom, I said, you know, I'm like, who said I relied on the kindness of strangers? That's how I built my business within a business. That's what you have to do. So, as Tiara is saying, you have to make it intentional. Like it's easy. The path of least resistance is to go to the Target, to the Walmart, to Wawa, wherever it is. But it takes a little bit more effort to reach some of these businesses. Harriet's bookstore is in Fishtown. So for many, that's kind of off the beaten path. So
That's a good point.
yeah.
That is a good point, but it doesn't matter, because if
No.
if I want to go to Fishtown to hang out and go to a really cool restaurant, I can also, you know, the new hip spot, I can also stop by Harriet's, right?
Yes.
So we have to do that. I just want to read, Amog made a point, and Amog, do you want to share your point? Do you want me to read it?
Oh yeah, so it's based off of this book I read by a professor at Penn, and it's called The Unicorn Shadow. It's about a lot of the biases in entrepreneurship and VC and like the venture capital space. And so it was really interesting, like some of the points that he brought up. It was like entrepreneurship and VC funding, it has largely like not been minority run, and I think that is like it hasn't really given like empowered like people who are like minorities, right, to start their own business, because they don't see people like them going and starting businesses. And so that's why I think like Kamala Harris being picked as a running mate is super important, and like Black Girl Ventures is super important. But it was just really interesting to read how he said that like the VC space up until now had been like mostly like old white male club, to like put it frankly. Like it was like they were only giving like VC funding to like people who looked similar to them, and then like when they did give to minority owners, it was like for a larger share of the company or at a lower valuation. And so it's like super important to address that, and I think that's what the organization does really well. But yeah,
Thank you.
if you want to read the book, it's called The Unicorn Shadow by Professor Ethan Mollick. Would highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very salient point. I know, I do know an African-American venture capitalist. He's on the West Coast. And I was talking with actually his wife about some of the investments, and they're talking about, they're very interested in machine-based learning and AI. And yes, those are cutting edge. Those are very now. But I just feel that there's so many other enterprises that could also benefit from that type of support.
Yeah.
So it's about widening the net.
Yeah, very much so.
I just wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to share again. My name is Lola Oladapo, and I'm the co-founder of the Vitale Hospitality Group. We are a Airbnb experiences hospitality lifestyle brand here in Philadelphia. And speaking of venture capital, you know, we're always looking for capital. One of the things I was really excited to see was, you know, how people seem to galvanize around Black businesses, particularly after George Floyd's untimely and cruel death. And I was hoping that momentum would continue to build, and we would see more, you know, organizations such as yours that would, you know, continue to pour into Black-owned businesses. Do you guys know of any companies or organizations out there like yours that's doing this work that we can tap into? And if we wanted to tap into the resources that you guys are offering, how do we go about doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a couple of things. I'm with you on the momentum, right? I do think this is a moment that we can seize on. And I need a few more data points to see if we're going to rise to the occasion.
Right.
But you know, we're off to a good start. There are plenty of companies out there that want to help us as Black and brown women founders. I see opportunities all the time because of my involvement in this organization. It goes back to the social capital and the networks that you have. If you want to learn more about the opportunities that we have through Black Girl Ventures, I definitely suggest you reach out to or connect on BGV Connect. You can go to our website. I think it's blackgirlventures.org, but I don't want to tell you. BGVconnect.com. Kamari put it there for me.
Yeah, Kamari just put it in the chat.
Yeah, go to
Thank you.
bgvconnect.com to learn about BGV Connect. It's real time sharing of resources, and so there is a program that's running now called oh my gosh, Venture Deal. It's a Venture Deal camp, for lack of better words. It's a 6-week program that's led by Techstars, the Kauffman Foundation, and had no idea that it existed. It's completely free. It helps to educate anyone on the process of seeking venture capital, how to negotiate through that process. It gives you an idea of the position that you could have going into those negotiations, as well as the position that venture capitalists often have going into those negotiations. Completely free. I just signed up, and I would not have known about that if I wasn't a part of BGV Connect.
Okay.
And so there's these really, really rich opportunities to just get a lot of pearls dropped in your lap on where to go and where to be at the right time that we wouldn't ordinarily have access to. I thought this was a brand new thing, and I was like one of the first people who were doing it. Apparently it's been around for years.
Wow.
You know,
check that out.
Definitely check it out. And you can always reach out to BGV Philly. You can always reach out to myself, Robin, Tanya Morris. You can look us up on LinkedIn or our social media channels.
Yes.
We're happy to keep you in the know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And you know, Lola, this week we are right in the middle or rolling towards the end of Minority Enterprise Development Week, or Med Week. So if you were to go to Med Week, just Google Med Week Philadelphia.
Okay.
That's going to have a wealth of information for you.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, you'll have our organization, African American Chamber of Commerce. There's the Business Center, there's the Enterprise Center. All those are resources that we're all connected with.
Yes. So Tanya provided the link to venturedeals.com. That's the online course that me and several other BGV members are taking right now. Kamari mentioned that, and it's a really good point, that there's constantly information being dropped in our chat around grants and funding opportunities, pitch opportunities. So of course, BGV and BGV Philly give you that opportunity to gain access to resources and capital through our pitch competition.
Yes.
And so I encourage you guys to, we've taken over Venture Cafe. Thank you, Venture Cafe. And we have podcasts coming up after this, and then we have our competition. And so women have the opportunity to pitch. You have the opportunity to vote with your dollar. You can let them know who deserves the bag, as we call it, by voting with your dollars. But in addition to the funding that's raised through kind of the crowdsourcing with the pitch itself, there's also funding that's provided through BGV sponsors. There's Google credits along with HubSpot resources and a number of other of ways that the BGV community supports those pitch competition, alumni, winners, etc. So I would also encourage you to, even though the pitch is today and it's probably too late for you to join, you should definitely also consider putting in an application to pitch at our next pitch conference.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Does anybody else have any questions? I know I've been asking a lot.
You've been asking great questions.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so for BGV Connect, is that also for the, is that just for founders or also for the services side? Because I have a friend named Arjun who's on the call earlier, and we're Penn students, and we started this pro bono venture consulting group, which is like completely run by, it's completely student run venture consulting group. And I was just wondering if there was a way we could like connect with founders.
Yeah, I think if you don't mind connecting with me or after after probably after today, because I want to stick around and hear the pitch.
Right.
But either drop your information in the chat, and I can definitely talk to you a little bit more about how to connect with the women who are involved in BGV, and definitely an opportunity for you to offer some services to our membership. That would be awesome.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm dropping my email in the general chat.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
I was wondering if I could ask a question.
Sure.
Or even just advice. I know that this year, and I just popped in, you might have covered this already, but you know, this year has been totally crazy. And I assume that a lot of founders or business owners have had to pivot how they do business and change their business plans, especially in the uncertainty of how business is going to be run in the next couple of years. And so I have gone through that. And so my whole idea of what I was going to create as a product this year totally changed. And now I'm in a situation where I wanted to apply for programs and you know, investment and things like that. But now I'm in a situation where I'm like, everything's different. Like I'm totally reorganizing how I think about this business. So in order to be clear with investors or organizations, like what would you say would be your best advice when approaching people and making sure that they understand that, you know, you're still on the same path. However, you're open and willing to change things, or you already have, and it's almost like I don't want to seem scattered, although this whole year is scattered, you know, like, so that.
Right. What's your name?
My name is Loretta Maps-Bolt. I make music with plants, and I turn it into augmented reality experiences.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for the question. Well, that was going to be my next question, that as far as the best way to present is, what are you presenting? So you said you create music with plants?
Yeah, so I was originally going to do in-person experiences. So I've been working with the Smithsonian on a project with ginseng for the past 2 years, and it was supposed to culminate in a 10-day event on the Washington Mall this summer during the 4th of July. Obviously, that got canceled. So that whole experience, I repackaged into a home experience that people could purchase online and things like that. And it's really reinvented the way I'm thinking about putting my work out there. And so it's almost like I have a different type of product or experience that I want to have investment in. And so like, I'm just building it, like I'm just trying it out. Although I've spent all these years working on creating this other product, you know, like the in-person experiences.
Right. Well, when you think about it, you wouldn't have been able to create your other experience without creating the first thing. So I think you're on the right path.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. And what you just said to me was, you know, it's authentic, it's reality. And it didn't seem like you were scattered. You said, this is where I was, this is what happened, and this is where I am today, and this is what I want to do to move forward.
Right.
You actually can't get much more succinct than that. So brings up a good point, again, about the community, but also the confidence building and just reassurance that what the track that we're on is the right track.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that there's certainly always, I am a very, I like formality and I like structure, so I can create a structure or framework for you in a heartbeat. But then there's the confidence of knowing exactly what's happening, exactly what's going on, and how to move that forward. I think the only constructive or critical thing that I would say is know your audience. So one of the first times that I had the opportunity to sit down and listen to Shelley was on our retreat, and she talked about how she's a visionary, she's a creative, she has a lot of great ideas. And she may be talking to a sponsor, but like sharing those ideas and throwing around things. But a sponsor may not be the right person to have that conversation with, right? So just you know, you have your mentors, you have your support system, your advisory board. Know who you're talking to and absolutely tailor your message to your audience. But I think based on what you said, that message is applicable to a lot of audience members.
Right.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. And I think it is more of like the confidence building, because we are also so separated from each other too. So it's almost like you got to hear it from somebody else. So
right,
thank
right.
you, I appreciate it.
You have to be confident with your agility.
Absolutely.
Confidently agile.
And I'll just do a quick pitch. I personally text message it to Loretta, but just saying every week at Venture Cafe, at 5:30, we actually do something called Startup Roundtable. And it's really with this idea in mind. It generally people, you know, take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You could do a pitch deck, or you could just have a conversation and seek advice from the community. And so the community is kind of goes regularly, and they are regularly offering, you know, different types of advice and in different ways to frame things. So it is also a good opportunity, low barriers to pitching or practicing.
Can you repeat that day and time again?
So it's every Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30 as part of Venture Cafe.
Thank you. So I know we have about 6 minutes left, and I was going to say before our time runs out, this is the takeover. So we're going to give you like 2 minutes to, you know, take a 2-function break. You can take one function and go grab something to eat or drink, but we want you to come back at 4 o'clock to join Nefertari, Tanya Morris, and the rest of the change agents for the Impact podcast. And then from there, we'll move into another podcast led by Nefertari and one of our change agents out of Miami, and then our pitch competition following that. So if you can stay for it all, that's great. If you can't, then I would encourage you to come back when you can and join us. Yes. So Robin, anything you'd like to say to close us out? Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you, thank you. One thing I always love to do with these Zoom meetings, and I'm pleased that this is probably one of the larger ones that we've ever facilitated, is on the count of 3, I like everybody to use their reaction button to show how you're feeling, okay? So everybody just pull up your screen with your choices of emojis. On the count of 3, I want everybody to light up the screen with their emoji. Got it? All right, wait, not yet. I didn't say. Good practice. Okay, I'm gonna count you down. 1, 2, 3.
All right, let's go.
Very nice,
Cool.
very nice.
Please, absolutely, if you had a question and you didn't get your question answered, please reach out to us. I think the ways to contact us are in the chat. So you can reach out to BGV Philly, you can reach out to any of us on any of our social media channels, and would love to chat more and share more of our excitement about what we get to do for the Philadelphia community.
Yes, and always, if you don't have a plan to vote, please make sure you make your plan. I believe that the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is October 19th. And if you're not sure where your polling station is, I know mine was moved for the primary and now it's back. I know that there's satellite places popping up all over the city, so make sure you have your plan to vote, please. And I do believe the census actually might have, I think it just ended. They extended it, but I think that extension might be over.
All right, 2 functions, 2 minutes.
Yes.
We'll see you at 4 o'clock.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.